Hey guys, this is North back again with another video. Today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 fragrances that I actually sold this year from my collection. Now, when we talk about top 10 lists or top 5 lists, it's usually things that we buy. So this is sort of a haul video, but in the reverse. So I have amassed, for me, a huge collection of almost 200 fragrances. So I've just been trying to get my collection down to a manageable size and try to edit the fragrances that I just absolutely don't love. So I posted them on eBay and Instagram, even for Grantica, and those are some of the places that I was successful in selling some of my used bottles, so that they can try to find homes where people actually appreciate the fragrances more than I did, and then I can get some sort of just a little bit of return actually on what I've spent. So this list isn't in any particular order. This is just 10 fragrances. I've sold more than that, but this is just 10 fragrances that I think were ones that, you know, people may love, but I just, either didn't love it or I found another use for my collection, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. So let's go ahead and get that going. Now, these 10 fragrances are just fragrances that either I wasn't absolutely in love with or I found another use for, which I'll talk about a little bit later when I get to those fragrances. So let's go ahead and get it going. The first fragrance I wanted to mention is going to be from the house of Penhaligons, and this is The Tragedy of Lord George. This fragrance was maybe the first Penhaligons that I bought. I found a tester bottle of it. I saw some decent reviews about it, and I actually do like the smell. It's like a barbershop fragrance. It's classified as like I believe a woody amber, but I believe other people classified it as like a fougere. It's sort of like a barbershop type fragrance. It has like this soapy note in it. So it was pretty good, but I just didn't use it a lot, and I didn't find that the fragrance was, as hefty as I wanted it to be. So I got rid of it for that reason. The next fragrance I wanted to mention that I sold is from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, and this is Grand Soir. Grand Soir is like one of the top amber fragrances on the market. And I had smelled it before and I wasn't like head over heels about it, but it just, sometimes you get caught up in the hype. And, I got like a few bucks off, so I ended up buying it, but I just couldn't find myself loving it. And this amber classification of fragrances is probably my favorite genre, even though there's so many subgenres of that. But that one, it just didn't do it for me at all. So I was happy that I was able to find someone that was willing to pick it up. I had only used a little bit of it. Moving on. The next one is going to be from the house of Andy Tower, and this one's going to be a twofer just because it's from the same house. And one of them is one of probably the #1 most famous indie niche fragrance out there. It's another amber scent, and that is L'air du Desert Marocain. I got rid of that, and I also got rid of Memories, Lone Star Memories, #2 and #3. So I got rid of both of those. They actually went to separate people. I was thinking they went to the same person. The same person did want them, but LDDM was already gone. L'air du Desert Marocain is a nice fragrance, but this again is one that I just absolutely didn't love, and I knew that I could probably find a buyer for it. Same with Memories, or Lone Star Memories. I keep on wanting to say Memories of a Trespasser. Memoirs of a Trespasser, which I actually sold as well, but that's not on my list. Moving on. Next one is from the house of Guerlain, which is, I guess if you could say it, it might be up there as far as some of my favorite fragrances from a particular house, but this one again didn't do it for me, and it made me also realize that I'm not that big of a fan of vanilla fragrances. And this is from the house of Guerlain. This is Spiritueuse Double Vanille. Spiritueuse Double Vanille just again didn't do it for me. I often wish that I had gotten the Tonka Imperiale, because it was between one of those two and I wasn't sure which one to get. This was at the time where they were discontinued and they hadn't been reintroduced in those new bottles. So I was able to find a buyer for that, so I was happy to get rid of that one pretty quick. Moving on. The next one I wanted to mention is from the house of Dior. This one I found a tester bottle of. It was Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now I don't own any of the Sauvage flankers, none of them at all. I wanted to get this one if I had found a tester bottle for a particular price, because you know the word on the street was that Francois Dimanchy was leaving Dior, that he's leaving Dior, and Francis Kirkjian was taking over. This was billed as like one of his last creations of the brand. So I wanted to get it so that it was sort of like, almost like in my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be like a time capsule piece or something like that. But when I smelled it, it just wasn't my style. It just wasn't for me. So posted it, got rid of it. And before I move on to the rest of them, so far, I don't have any regrets of the things that I've gotten rid of, whether they be discontinued or not. So that's just something I'm trying to do, just edit my collection and just keep, for me, the best of the best. Moving on. Next one I want to mention is also from the house of Dior. This is the Ombre Nuit. Ombre Nuit, I found a tester bottle, 250 ml bottle for like a decent price. So I bought that. It was really a compulse buy. I smelled Ombre Nuit before. It wasn't something that I was like head over heels over. So, but I just got it anyways. And then I realized, I don't need 250 milliliters of this. If it was something I absolutely love, so sure. So I ended up getting rid of that. That's also one of the top amber fragrances out there. So that's another one that I was able to sell. Moving on. Next one I want to mention is from the house of Vanille, and this one is carved oud. This is the first one that I had purchased from the brand. I actually bought it from Selfridges in UK and had it shipped all the way here. I got it because it was supposed to smell similar to oud wood from Tom Ford, and I was just so over like that smell. But I bought this one because it was an extrait, and I thought that when I got it, I was going to get to a point where I could get back to me actually loving the scent, which I actually did, but I got burnt out on it from someone that I knew. I just couldn't get over that. I just couldn't get over it. So I was like, I don't want it in my collection anymore. So I got rid of that one. Vanille carved oud. Now there's 3 more fragrances that I wanted to mention. The next one is from the house of Gaultier, and this is Gaultier II. Now Gaultier II is actually supposed to be re-released sometime in the fall. So I was glad I was able to get rid of the bottle prior to it being re-released. I don't know how that will affect the resale value, but I did that prior to the announcement of that. And the reason I did that was because I found both a 120 ml bottle and a 40 ml bottle of it. And this is my 40 ml right here. So I still had a 40 ml, and I got them both for a steal. The gray market where I got it from, definitely didn't know what he had, but I still had the 40 ml bottle. Still pretty full. This one has the cap. The other one, the one I sold, didn't even have the cap on it. But I know it's like a highly coveted scent. So I'm gonna hang on to this one for a little bit, maybe give it a couple wears. But when I tried it, I wasn't in love with that one either. So Grand Soir or this Gaultier II are just two like amber fragrances, like really amber, especially the color of it is just so spot on, but they just don't really do it for me. So we'll see how this 40 ml will be in the future. So that's why I got rid of that one, because I had a backup bottle. Moving on. All right, the last 2. So this fragrance that I want to mention is from the house of Mugler. It is one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and this one is Over the Musk. Now, the reason I got rid of Over the Musk was because, for one, I have a backup bottle, or had a backup bottle. This is my only bottle now of Over the Musk in the original packaging. They did release it again in newer packaging, so it wasn't discontinued. I had a tester bottle of it. I don't remember how much of it was left, maybe 2/3. But my buddy, one of my colleagues, he smelled it on me, and I told him how much I loved the scent, and then he smelled it and he just loved it, And so I figured, since I'm trying to cut down on my collection, he likes it so much, I'll go ahead and let him go ahead and get it. I gave him a price. He had no problem with it. He just picked it up for me. And who knows how long it'll take for me to get through this. This is a 100 ml, actually an 80 ml bottle. So, you know, I was fine with getting rid of that so that he can experience it, because I just love that scent so much, and, you know, lessen the amount of bottles that I have in my collection. All right, last one. All right, guys, and the last fragrance on this list of the top fragrances that I sold this year is also another fragrance that is top 10 in my collection. Top 10. And I sold it. And this is from the house of Armani Privé, Giorgio Armani Privé. This is Myrrhe Impériale. Now, I've only have a few videos, but I feel like I've talked about Myrrhe Impériale ad nauseum. I've talked about it a lot. And I even got a Bottega Victoria's Iceni because it smells like Myrrhe Impériale. So why did I sell it? I sold it because when I was in one of the perfume shops, I was looking for a 50 ml bottle. Those are nowhere to be found, but I found a 250 ml bottle of Myrrhe Impériale. I don't know if you can see that. It says 250 milliliters. So I found this, and so I wasn't going to obviously have both of them, because who knows how I can even get through this 250 milliliters. So what I said to myself is that I'll post it on eBay for a particular price, you know, where I'd only have to pay a little bit for this bottle. If I sell that original bottle, then I'll go and I'll pick this up. I uploaded it on eBay for a particular price and it was more than retail, you know, but not too ridiculous. Within 24 hours, because nobody else has it for sale on eBay from what I saw. So I wasn't sure what type of hits I was going to get on it anyways. I posted it within less than 24 hours. It was sold just like that. So since I was able to sell it, I went down there and I picked this joint up. I don't even know how anybody could even find it, but this is one of my all-time favorite fragrances of all time. And so this is the reason why I sold that one. So there you go. There's my list of my top 10 fragrances that I sold this half of the year. We'll see how it does, if I'll make another video like this of, you know, other things that I might have sold, but not, you know, I just wanted to just put this out there because, you know, you hear reviewers talking about, or people talking about fragrances and talking about fragrances that they sold, but I didn't know where or how to do it. So everything's always like trial and error. I'm here relatively alone, you know, besides my wife, but, you know, nobody else do I interact with in person that's into fragrances like that. So I had to figure out all these things on my own. So if you have any questions, let me know. What are some ways that you try to sell some of your used fragrances that you don't want anymore? What are some things that you know, might help me out with trying to get rid of some of the bottles? Because there's still a bunch of bottles I'm still trying to get rid of. Still trying to get my collection down to what I feel like is a manageable level, because I'll still be adding things to it, and my next video is going to be 5 of my favorite pickups of this year. So I'm trying to do not one in, one out, or one out, one in. I'm trying to do one in, multiple out, because, you know, when you're selling the fragrances, you're trying to get basically pennies on the dollar, basically, you know what I mean? Unless it's something that's, you know, highly sought after. So that's it, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video soon, guys. Peace.